Yes, good morning, students. Today we are going to start the poem, The Ball poem. Okay, The Ball poem. So, what's the ball here? So, first, in order to first enjoy the poem, let's enjoy the beauty of the poem. So, let's find out what's the ball here. So, let's see like what happens to the ball. Let's try to see like what does the poet actually want to convey through this poem. So, the boy loses a ball. So, let's not read this even the introduction part. Let's see. What's the boy now? Who has lost his ball? What is he to do? I saw it go merrily bouncing down the street and then merrily over. There it is in the water. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy. As he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went, I would not intrude on him. A dime, another ball is worthless. Now he senses first responsibility. In a world of possessions, people will take balls. Balls will be lost any always, little boy, and no one buys a ball back. Money is external. He is learning well behind his desperate eyes. The epistemology of loss, how to stand up knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up, right? So, one thing is very clear like, what's the ball here? Children, is the am I audible, children? Am I audible? Okay. Okay, is the page clear? Is the page also clear? Okay, so children are saying page is also clear. So, Saksham, who is that? The one who told me right now. Yes, Saksham beta, please, you can otherwise have your own book in your hand. You must have your own book in your hand. Okay, if the page is not clear, then you can have your own book or you have your own PDF opened up. Okay, so what is ball? Ball, literally in this poem, ball is that ball with which you play, right? It's a toy. So ball with which you always play, the ball which has a quality to bounce up and down, the ball which is symbolic of children's possessive nature. So in a literally it's a toy and symbolically ball represents any all materialistic things. Okay, all materialistic possessions. What is materialism? What is materialistic? Something which is made up of matters. Okay, something which is made up of matter is materialistic. Okay, something which we buy with money, that is materialistic. Okay, something which money can buy, that is materialistic, right? So the ball, literally ball is a toy, but symbolically ball is any materialistic possession. So literally the story is about a child, about a boy who loses his ball, and the poet doesn't see any point in providing him another ball. The reason, maybe the boy would not be able to accept the new ball because he was attached with the previous ball, the one which he has lost. The poet doesn't want to go to him and console him or to comfort, or he doesn't want to go to comfort him. Why? What's the reason behind it? Because the poet says that the child at this stage, he will be learning the lesson of life, the lesson that one should stand up on one's own to bear the loss. Because life is just not always life is not always about getting the things, or always being to the positive side. Because life is, if life is about the day, then night comes after day. Okay, if night is about hope, then despair goes side by side. If life is about hope, then hopelessness prevails side by side. If life is about life, you cannot ignore the another aspect of life, that is death. So if life is about blooming, decay cannot be overlooked. If spring comes, winter cannot be far behind, right? So life is always about dual aspect. So if there are flowers, then thorns you cannot overlook. So if a child has lost something, then he must also know that that once something is lost, then he must stand on his own to bear the loss. So the poem is not basically about the loss, but it's basically about how one has to learn to let go of the things. One has to learn to move on. One has to learn to forget the past and to start the life ahead with all new hopes and aspirations. So basically, this simple poem with a simple storyline about a boy, the one who loses a ball and gets very emotional and doesn't want anything else except the same ball. So here the point is that instead of, like, for how long will you go on uh, cribbing, complaining, or crying over the loss? You cannot cry. You cannot keep on, crying over the loss forever. One day you'll have to forget the loss and you'll have to move on. So life is about moving on. The show must go on. Okay, this is what the inspirational people or the philosophers say. The life never comes to a standstill. Okay, life is all about moving ahead. Life is all about moving on. It's not about standing still and waiting, or just ruining, or crying over the loss for always. It's about moving on. So the ball poem, let's see this. So the a boy loses a ball. He's very upset. A ball doesn't cost much, nor is it difficult to buy another ball. So why then is the boy so upset? So this is what we have to find out in the poem. So it's not that the ball is something which is very expensive, or the balls are not available. So if one ball is gone, you can get another ball very easily. Then where is the point of the where is the point? What's the reason that the boy is so upset over the loss of the ball? This is what we have to focus upon. Read the poem to see what the poet thinks has been lost and what the boy has to learn from the experience of losing something. So, what is the boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? So, what is the boy now? Another question: who has? What is he to do? See, the poem starts with the poet wondering upon, like, what would be the expression of the boy? What would be the reaction of the boy at his loss of the ball? So the fact is that the boy has lost his ball. Now the question is, Like how will he respond to it? How will he react to this loss? What is he to do now? So what will be his behavior now? How will he react? What will be his reaction? And what will be his next line of action? Okay, there are two things the poet wonders about. Like the boy has lost his ball, then as a result, how will he react? Will he cry? Will he shout? Will he show anger? Or what? So how will he react to the loss? How will he react at the loss? And what is he to do? And what will be his next line of action? What will he do next? So the poem starts with the question, the poem starts with the poet wondering at the boy's reaction, and the next line of action at his loss of the ball. And here the poet has repeated the words what and what. Okay, so repeated these two words. So there is a poetic device, repetition. So when a word or phrase is repeated in two lines, we call it repetition. So he has repeated these two words, this word what two times, and the purpose of repetition is the poet is actually wondering, the poet is actually, concerned about the way the boy would react. Okay, the poet is expecting a certain kind of behavior from the boy at his loss. Got it? So why is the repetition there? The repetition is there uh, to make us realize, to make us focus upon like how the boy is going to react at the loss. I saw it go merrily bouncing down the street and then merrily over. There it is in the water. So who is I? I is a poet. The poet saw it going merrily. What is it? What is it? It is ball. So the poet saw the ball going. The poet, when the boy was playing with the ball, then poet was also standing somewhere nearby, and he had been a mute spectator of whatever was going on around that place. So when the ball was lost, then poet was there and he knows like where the ball has gone. I saw it go merrily bouncing. So the poet saw that the ball was going bouncing down the street, like it saw the ball going. It it's he's The poet saw that the ball was going up and down the street, and then merrily over. There it is in the water. So the ball cannot be like merry. The ball cannot be happy. The movement of the ball makes us feel as if the ball was very happy. So you can say that here the poet is personifying the ball. So it went merrily over. Okay, it went merrily over means the way the ball was moving up and down. So it's a human being, jumps up and down. A human being, jumps, bounces, springs up and down when one is very enthusiastic. So he saw the ball bouncing up and down, jumping up and down the street, and then he saw it going into a water body. So it might have been a small puddle or some river or some what pool. So there might have been some water body, and the poet saw the ball going into that water body, right? So no use to say, oh, there are other balls. So usually what happens, children? Like when children lose something, how are they often consoled? They are often consoled by their parents or by their elders, like, don't worry, we'll get you one more, right? But the poet over here says that it's useless to tell him that there are other balls, that other balls are available. So it is it's not required, it's not useless, it's not of any worth to tell the boy that he must not worry about, he must not rue over the loss because there are other balls. Why is it worthless? Why should he not be told about this? The poet says it is of no use. It's of no use that we tell him that he must not worry about the lost ball, because there are a plenty of more balls with us. Now the question arises, why not to say this thing to the boy? Come on, can you tell me? The poet says that it is useless to tell the boy that there are many more balls and he must not worry about it. The question arises, like, why should he not be told about this thing? Why should he not be consoled? Why should he not be consoled? Today the boy has lost the ball, and the ball is something which can be replaced. Ball is something which is not an irreparable loss. If one ball is lost, you can get him and have another one, because it's not very expensive. It's not out of reach. But there might be some loss which might be irreparable, some other loss which might be irreplaceable. There might be a loss, the boy might face a loss which he might not be able to replace with anything else. So, in order to teach the boy a lesson that every money cannot buy everything, in order to make him realize that loss is a part of life, the poet thinks that he should not be provided with another ball. So no use to say, oh, there are other balls, because there are times when we lose something or someone we are very dear of, somebody or someone which is very close to our heart, something which we actually cherish. So sometimes we lose the most cherished things or persons. Are we always in a condition or in a position to get them back? No. Each time, every time, we are not able to get everything back or everyone back. So, in order to teach the boy the lesson that everything is not replaceable or everything is not repairable, okay, because everything is not a ball, everything is not cheap, everything is not insignificant. So, an ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down. So, the poet says that it is of no use that we tell the boy that there are other balls, because the boy will not be consoled. The boy will remain an inconsolable situation, because the boy is extremely attached with the ball. He likes that particular ball which he has lost. So if you go and tell him that you'll be able to get one more ball, he will not be consoled. He won't become comfortable. So why won't he become comfortable? Because he is attached with that particular ball which he has lost. So here ball is not just literally a ball. Here ball actually symbolizes something with which we are attached. Okay, so we are attached not only with the things, we are attached with the relatives also, with the people also. So the ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid. Rigid means like stiff, motionless, trembling, staring down. So the boy, he's extremely shocked. The grief fixes the boy. The boy is grief stricken. The loss of the ball makes him grief stricken, and he stands stiff and stares down at the road, and he stares down at the water body, and he looks down the street, and he looks down the water body, wherever. So he becomes rigid, he becomes stiff, he doesn't even move. So because he's extremely grief stricken and he doesn't even move, he doesn't even budge from that place. As he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. Staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. So, where did his ball go? His ball bounced into the river, into the water body. So now he is looking, he is staring down the harbor where his ball has gone. So, where is he looking now? He is looking down into the harbor, into that water body where he has seen his ball going. I would not intrude on him. What is intrusion? What is intrusion? Intrusion is entering somebody's land without permission. You might have often heard this word in news like Pakistan intruded Indian border. So intrusion is the one who intrudes is the person who enters the land of other person without permission. And here it's not the land where the poet is talking about his entry. Here he talks about interference, that he doesn't want to go to the boy and talk to him about the loss because he doesn't think that it will help. He says, I would not intrude upon him. He says, I will not go and talk to him. I will not try to console him. He says, I will not try to console him because the boy is in such a condition that he will not be consoled, number one. And secondly, the poet doesn't want that the boy should be taught the lesson. The poet wants that the child should learn the lesson on his own. What lesson? The lesson of moving on, the lesson of letting the things go off. Okay, the lesson of forgetting the past and moving on. So the poet says, I would not intrude on him. A dime is a currency of America. So a dime, another ball, is worthless. So if you give him some money to let him buy another ball is useless. So there is no point of giving him money so that he could get another ball. There is no point of doing this because the boy is terribly attached. He's extremely attached with the ball which he has lost. Now he senses first responsibility in a world of possessions. Now he senses first responsibility in a world of possessions. So this is the world, in this world of materialism, in this materialistic world, where there is cutthroat competition, where there is, where rat race is always going on for one thing or the other. Okay. In that kind of world, the boy will learn the first lesson of responsibility. The boy today will learn that he'll have to be responsible. He'll have to be, he'll have to learn the lesson that he must be responsible. People will take balls. Balls will be lost always, little boy. So today, with this loss of the boy will learn the first lesson of his life. That will be the lesson of being responsible. Because in this world where there is cutthroat competition, in this world where the rat race is a norm, what is rat race? In order to get something, if there is something, then it's not that only you are after that thing. Okay, if there is some prize, if there is something precious, then it's not that you only want that. There might be thousands of other people, those who want the same thing. Okay, and in order to get that prize, people will pay anything. People will give anything. They will sacrifice up to any extent. So we call it rat race when people uh, when people don't compromise, when people don't leave any chance, any stone unturned in getting what they want. Okay, they try to achieve the things by hook or by crook. We call it rat race. When people behave like a rat to get the prize. Okay, maybe the means may be good or the means may be bad. So what the poet wants to say, like that is a reality in this world. The world is The world is a place where there is cutthroat competition. What is cutthroat competition? Where people don't bother, where values don't matter, where relations, they take a back seat because people want to get what they want. People become single minded, people become selfish. Okay, in the in pursuit of success, or in pursuit of getting what they want, people become selfish and whatnot. In that kind of world, the poet says, in that kind of world, the boy today is going to learn the lesson that once if you lose something, then you'll have to move on. You cannot just keep on wait. You just cannot stand and keep waiting for this, for what you have lost. Because if you'll stand at one place, what will happen? The other world will surpass you. The other world, the other people will overtake you, and you will be left behind. So today, when he'll be experiencing this loss, when he has experienced the loss of his one cherished possession, then he must not sit back. He must not have that laid back attitude. He must not keep on brooding over one loss. He must not keep on contemplating over the loss. He must not keep on crying over the loss. He must rather move on. If he doesn't do this, then the other people will overtake him, and he'll be left behind. So people will take balls. Balls is symbolic of materialistic position. So people will take balls means that people will take the advantage of his laid back attitude. If he will sit back, if he will have that laid back attitude, or if he will become over emotional, and if he will become inactive because of the loss, then there will be other people who in this rat race will leave him behind and will go ahead of him. So people will take balls. Balls will be lost always. So here balls are symbolic of materialistic possessions. Mind it. Okay, ball is symbolic. Ball is metaphorically used over here. Balls metaphorically means the materialistic positions. Got it? So people will take balls means people will take will overtake him, and they will try to catch all those materialistic positions which this boy is also aspiring for. And here, children, balls are symbolic of materialistic positions. And these materialistic positions might be these positions might be the things. These might be the positions. Okay. For example, one seat in JEE, or one seat in NEET, NEET, or some seat, or a seat in some competitive other exam. So if you will have a sit back, or this kind of attitude, if you will become over emotional and you don't keep on moving ahead, then people will overtake you, people will surpass you. So people are very selfish because they are the product of the rat race. Balls will be lost anyways, and little boy, and no one buys a ball back. So no one buys a ball back. So money is external. So money is an external factor. You cannot buy everything back with money. So if you've lost something, then that loss cannot always be recovered. Money, of course, can buy everything, but money cannot buy you happiness. Money cannot buy success for you. Right? Money is an external factor. In order to move on, in order to achieve success in life, you'll have to be you'll have to be proactive. You'll have to forget the loss, and you'll have to become you'll have to be like consistent with your achievements. You'll have to move on and on. Your consistent efforts only will give you back the results. So, and no one buys a ball back. So you cannot get everything back with money. Okay, you cannot buy everything with money. Yeah, literally you can buy a ball, but you cannot buy happiness with money. You cannot buy success with money. You cannot buy a you cannot buy something which gives you happiness with money. So money is external. He's learning well behind his desperate eyes. He is learning. So money is external, he is learning. So today he is learning the first lesson of being dispassionate. Okay, he is learning for the first time the first lesson of being dispassionate. What's the lesson he needs to learn at the stage? He needs to learn the lesson of being dispassionate. What is dispassionate? Like not to become over emotional. Okay, not to attach too much of importance to just one thing. If you become over emotional, if you attach too much of importance to one thing, what will happen? You will stop moving ahead. If you will give too much attention to your one favorite position, maybe your phone. Nowadays children, a survey is being conducted, and according to that survey, by the time this pandemic would be over, the next pandemic will be with the children. The children will find it difficult to come out of the world of the mobiles or the phones. They have become extremely addicted to phones. So afterwards it will become almost very difficult for the parents and teachers to tackle children, the ones who have already become the victims of mobile phones. So the point is that the moment, what we call it, when you become addicted to something, it means that you have become passionate about one thing, you have become possessive about one thing. So what happens? The boy is learning today for the first time that he has not to be passionate about one thing. He has to be dispassionate. He has to get detached from his attachments. He's learning well behind his desperate eyes. So why are his eyes desperate? His eyes show that hopelessness, that that ball will not be, he will not be able to get that materialistic thing back. The epistemology of loss. What is epistemology? Epistemology is the nature of the loss. So epistemology is the study of the nature of knowledge itself. So here he says like the epistemology, the nature of loss. How to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up. So today the boy will learn the nature of loss. Today the boy will understand how to stand up. Stand up means how to bear, how to tolerate the loss. So today the boy will understand the nature of the loss. He'll understand like something with which he is terribly attached mentally or spiritually or emotionally. He must try to overcome. He must try to overcome himself from that loss. He must try to move on. He must try to tolerate that loss. Okay, what is standing up? Like to tolerate. Once when you are able to bear up the loss, it means that you start moving on. It means that you're not just standing there and just complaining and crying over the loss. Knowing what every man must one day know. So today the boy will learn the lesson of becoming dispassionate, the lesson of becoming the one for whom the future matters, because this is the lesson which every man learns in his life, maybe sooner or later. So everybody has to learn this lesson of moving on, and must know many days how to stand up. So most know many days how to stand up. So the boy will have to understand, the boy has understood that he must move on, thereby forgetting the loss. Because only when he will move on, only then he will be able to cope up with this world which is